Your 24-hour news source is Central New York 9. Now the news team that's making a difference. Scott Byro and Mike Otis with your weather source forecast. This is 9 News Daybreak.
For the second time in a week, teenagers steal a car for a joyride that ends in tragedy. It's 5:55, 53
This is a typical daybreak.
Good morning,
Scott
everyone.
Byro brings you up to date on the events making news, and Mike Otis tells you what to expect the weather to be like. But what you're looking at is the end of a long, hard day. We have to start at the beginning to see how a newscast comes together, and that's my job as a news producer. A news producer is responsible for everything in a newscast. What stories, the order they're presented in, and how they look on the air are just some of the many decisions I must make. It's a challenge to keep up on all current events, but there are a number of tools that help. Scanners with police and fire frequencies programmed in let me know what on-the-spot news is happening, like a fire, car accident, or even a murder. As soon as something happens, it's my job to make sure a reporter and a photographer get to the scene quickly to get pictures and gather information. Unit 20, the fire is located at 410 Allen Street. Our wire service lets me know what's happening across the nation and the state by providing information in the form of brief news summaries.
Responding party 20500.
Newsroom. Can I help you? Okay, Onondaga Central on a 1-hour delay. And then, of course, there's the phone. Okay. Making calls or viewers calling in with news are the best ways to find out news stories. Once I've decided what stories I'm going to include, it's time to prepare a rundown. A rundown is a list of news stories. I type it on the computer. Copies go to everyone involved with the newscast. News stories are typed on paper that is 10 pages thick. Once all the stories are written, they're put in order in a stack, and then they're ripped and separated. Everyone gets a copy of the script, too. After a script is written, an editor then puts pictures to the words on these machines. Television editing is really just re-recording just the pictures you want on a story cassette like this one. When all the news stories are edited, I put them in the right order according to the rundown, and then I take the tapes back to a place called Master Control. This is where the tapes are played back during the newscast. We're going to lead with the Red Cross. They have an appeal because their disaster fund is running out of money, so they need money right away, and the airport has a parking emergency. As news time nears, it's good to check with the production staff to make sure everything I put in the script is ready to go.
Jordan, what?
So we have to do the boards first, all right?
Boards first. All right, and then we need an on-camera intro, right?
It's important for me to talk to the news anchor before we go on the air, to answer his questions and make sure he understands the script and which cameras to look at. Timing is critical to a newscast. Before I head into production control, I'll sit down and block out on paper how much time each story will take. Then it's showtime.
Your 24-hour news source is Central New York 9. Now the news team that's making a difference. Scott Byro and Mike Otis with your weather source forecast. This is 9 News Daybreak.
For the second time in a week, teenagers steal a car for a joyride that ends in tragedy. It's 5:55, 53 degrees. Good morning, everyone. We'll tell you more about that story, and we'll have the rest of the news coming up right after we talk to Mike this morning. 53 degrees already.
And we're going to warm up close to 60 today, but we are in for a rude awakening by tomorrow morning. Looking for showers to develop later on this morning. Temperatures moving through the 50s, upper 50s, maybe even 60 by midday.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Okay.
Topping our news this morning, a joyride for 2 teenagers has ended in tragedy. Syracuse police are still putting together all of the facts, but we do know 2 teens reportedly stole a car from the A-Plus Mini Mart on North State and James Street just after midnight. The car had been left running by a nurse at St. Joseph's Hospital. Deborah Richer says she was only in the store for a second when the teens jumped in the car and drove down North State Street. They didn't get too far after smashing into several parked cars along the way. The stolen white Grand Am rolled over several times and crashed into 2 used cars for sale on the corner of North State and Lodi Streets. Police on the scene say one of the teens is dead. The other was taken to St. Joseph's Hospital. We're not sure of his condition this morning. Police are not yet releasing the names of the victims until their families have been notified.
While we're on the air, if I need to tell Scott anything, I can talk right in his ear through a device called an IFB, or interfrequency blockage. Sometimes I have to tell Scott to speed up or slow down, or not to read a story because we're running out of time, or a new story has just come in and he needs the latest information. How hard do you think it is for Scott to talk to you while I'm talking to him in his IFB in his ear? I like being a news producer. A producer has complete control of a newscast, and when things go well, it's a job you can be very proud of.
Alrighty, thank you, Mike. I think we'll look forward to that. We'll be back again in 15 minutes. We hope to see you then. In the meantime, we can take you back to New York and world news this morning. If you're heading out this morning, drive carefully. Have a great day. It's 6:30.